You will be destroyed! Kill them for the glory of the monument! Taking down the runners and throwing at enemies!
Show me what you found.
I am blind, but it is you who cannot see for what it truly is. One of the pods was left.
You're not worthy.
Get inside! The greatest temptation is trying to control something we do not fully understand. But what do we do when faced with the truly inexplicable? Some tear it up to make souvenirs. Others keep it chained up inside a perimeter cage. Perhaps all the zone really needs is our compassion.
Dugas, Control Center, what's going on over there? We've got anomalous activity at all our facilities. Dugas, respond!
Perhaps the time has come to let her choose her own destiny.
We're receiving numerous reports of unidentified anomalous entities. Do not approach or make contact with the anomalous object.
There is nothing you can keep secret that will not come into the open. It's just a matter of time. I used to serve the monolith blindly, until she opened my eyes. To keep life's adventure going, one must embrace freedom. Such is the gift of the zone.
So I don't know if it's been 330 hours of gameplay, about maybe 335. I'd have to check. And finally, the game is finished. About a year. It's taken me about a year playing about 1 to 2 hours either every day or every few days, and sometimes more in a day. And here we are. Man, that was a lot. Anyone who thinks that they didn't get their money's worth from this game is a bit ridiculous. Because let's say it was 360 hours, or let's say it was just 300, right? So then if you paid $100 for what, the Ultimate Edition, I'm not sure how much that was, then you divide that by 300, so you paid 33 cents per game hour when it took a whole team, to create all of this content. I mean, you might be someone who did a speed run through the main story, and I'm not sure how many hours of gameplay that would be, but I wanted to see the whole zone because I found the original games too difficult for me, at least on the system that I had at the time. And even when I try to play Stalker Anomaly, I just find it too difficult. So I was able to play this on rookie mode because I wanted to sightsee the zone. So I was trying to check out everything, trying to find all the loot that the developers had hidden, trying to see all the sites. There's some places that I skipped, like north of the Clear Sky base down in the swamps. I didn't get to parts of Pripyat, although I intended to. And geez, after this last slugfest, I feel like I need a rest. So I'm letting these credits roll because I think that the team deserves it. Everyone on the team deserves the credit for their contribution to the title. So I'm just going to let this roll to the end. I thought that there was supposed to be a choice. That Skiff was supposed to make some kind of choice on how the zone would turn out. And maybe I did, and I wasn't conscious of how I made the choice. I don't know. But, so I'm gonna have to consult Google because I want to find out, was Faust putting up an illusion of himself as Dr. Kaimanov? It's kind of like a shell game. Some of these high rollers in this storyline. And a lot of the time I kind of felt like a leaf getting blown about by the wind. That I was just trying to look out for my own interests in the moment, or that I was sympathizing with each character as they came along. There weren't many characters that made just gave me a creepy feeling where I didn't want to like help them at all. Like I even sympathized with Faust a bit, and I mean I sympathize with Korshinov a bit, you know. So it was hard to. One thing I didn't like, which I wound up helping her accomplish her ends, was I did not like Sonya Kalina's plan to have Beard and the Sultan killed just so that she could unite the loners and the bandits, which just seemed like a screwy plan because they're two different kinds of personality types. I don't think you could unite the two. So I was trying to actually work against her plan and wound up actually helping her out accidentally. So she was one character who at that when she proposed that plan, I did not sympathize with her at all. Um, she just seemed stupidly ambitious. Uh, so I found it kind of difficult through the main story to find my compass bearing. You know, my and stay in touch with my values as a character or a player. I mean, it's kind of similar to Far Cry 2, where the main character in Far Cry 2 becomes so much like the Jackal that it's, I think, hard for him to condemn the Jackal near the end of the story. And here, Skiff, I mean, he's just been going around killing tons of people, um, usually those who shoot at him first. I think. I uh, I didn't just try to kill everybody, and I didn't try to antagonize any of the factions against me. I played in a way where I tried to preserve my character's life, and then if a faction was antagonized towards me in my doing that, well then so be it. Um, anyway, look at all these people that worked on this. This is I'm not sure if some of the names are fulfilling multiple roles, but from the documentaries on the making of Stalker 2, I didn't get the feeling that the team was this big. Maybe they contracted out some of the work. I don't know. But I mean, I can see where they would have maybe needed to because there's just so much content in this game. I mean, the world is pretty huge, and it's not just about square mileage. It's the world is three-dimensional too. You know, sometimes you're you're going underground so that some areas of the map are multi-layered, or you're ascending to heights. And geez, I mean, this game was a lifestyle, guys. I mean, I've been playing on Rookie for a year, and quite devoted to the game during that year. Whereas for a handful of years at least before this, I was playing Scum avidly, putting a lot of time into it until the developers of that game made some design decisions that kind of cooled my enthusiasm for the game. But then they've also done some good work recently, finally bringing things like NPCs, armed NPCs with ranged weapons into the game. So maybe I'll be returning to putting more time into Scum. But I've also considered possibly playing Stalker Gamma. Or maybe Anomaly with mods. I guess Gamma in itself is a mod for Anomaly. I'm not sure. But I mean, some of the graphics mods for Anomaly and Gamma are bring the graphics almost up to speed with Stalker 2, or maybe in some cases even surpass it in some respects. I'm not sure from what I've seen in videos. But it's not just about the graphics, it's also about the gameplay, and some people believe the gameplay in Anomaly and Gamma to be superior, but as I've said, I've tried to turn the difficulties down all the way in Anomaly, and I still find that game incredibly difficult. So, also, there's the possibility of playing this title modded, which I haven't been doing before, mostly because I've been playing this title through GeForce Now. But now that I can play the game on my own system, uh, there's potential there to play it with mods. But I would like to do it where the mods don't break my game saves, so that some people say maybe they'll just wait until they stop updating this game, but it sounds like they're going to be supporting it for a while. There's about to be a version 1.8 coming out, I think tomorrow, for this game, which will add a hub down in the burnt forest and more side quests and more NPCs, more characters. So I want to check that out, especially because I don't know if the loot will still be there, but I left tons of loot down there in the Duga and burnt forest area. But here in this end game, you saw how much loot there was, and which was really unusual for me, I just had to pass up so much of it because I was already pretty burdened not being able to use my exoskeleton suit. And yeah, I had to leave so much of it behind because there were very few stashes in that end game. So I couldn't like harvest the loot and then throw it in a stash for retrieval later. So it was very unlike how I played most of the game where I would really try to conserve all the resources. Look at this. These credits just keep rolling, man. The people that worked on this are so many more than you saw in group photos in the documentaries. So I think that most of the negative reaction about this game, like I did see one bug there near the end. If I tried to examine the heart of Chernobyl, it wasn't near my hand or in my hand. It was off to the left and below, and that was a little disappointing because I expected the heart of Chernobyl to be this gorgeous looking artifact, right? And from what I saw of it, it didn't look that great. I don't know if that's because it's maybe it looked like it might be a somewhat man-made object. So maybe that's why it's not as beautiful as the natural artifacts created by the zone. But you can check my receipts. You know, I've got videos of almost every session um, that I've played this game, and I've really encountered very few bugs. Like, I think the one that I've seen the most recently, well, there's that rather recent one where where poltergeists and burrs are able to throw things at you, I guess, through walls, and that's been pretty annoying. Um, then you'll find corpses with their buried in the ground with their feet sticking up out of the ground. I mean, if you've been playing PC games for very long, that's kind of forgivable, you know. It's not the end of the world. You know, it looks kind of it doesn't look right, but it's not the end of the world because you could still access the corpse's inventory. Um, and then near the end, it seemed like anybody using a weapon with armor-piercing ammo or like a Gauss rifle, it seemed like they were aiming right through hard material surfaces, which is kind of not a bad thing because you really do kind of want the AI to be able to, using guesswork, fire at you through materials. Um, like I caught like this one really impressive moment in Pripyat where a monolithian was blasting at me with a shotgun through interior walls, and that felt really realistic because he had just seen me and he knew I was retreating into the room that he was firing into through the interior walls. And interior walls typically, at least in America, are made of materials that are easy to penetrate with firearms. So that did not feel like a bug. That felt like realism and good AI. But Yeah, I certainly did not encounter all these, like this end of the world state of the game that would make me want to go on YouTube or Twitch and try to persuade people uh, not to play the game. I think the two reasons, um, maybe it might be three, but I'll list two and then I'll list the third. One reason is I do think there is a pro-Russian political uh, backlash against this game. You know, lots of the Russian fanboys really hate this game because it was made by Koreans and because they GSC Game World decided to leave the Russian aspect out of the game out of it. Um, you know, and to the Russians and their little familiars and their little communist wannabe fanboys, you know, your decisions have consequences. You know, you got to live with it. You made your bed, now lie in it. Thank you to the bottom of our hearts, your unwavering support and understanding of Foundation, and really grateful you're every step of the way. Hard people check you. Yeah, checks are awesome. And create this project. So, oh, are these checks now that we're helping, or or maybe these are just the people saying thank you? I don't know. So, I do think there's the political backlash against the game. Second, I think that there may have been an industry backlash against the game because of the huge replayability of this game. That you could play this title for 330 hours and not finish it yet. You know, and if you're playing a game for 330 hours, that's 330 hours that you're not buying all these crap AAA games that have like 6-hour main storylines and that's it. You know, they want you spending money on, you know, $60 after $60, you know, every time the hype comes out for some new game that often turns out to be disappointing. This game, for me, was not in the least disappointing. And furthermore, if there was something that I thought could be improved about this game, I would submit a ticket um, through the GSC Game World website, and some of the recommendations I made were because I really didn't get to a part of the story that would have let me know that what I was recommending was already in the game. But the um, the people handling those support tickets were always really good about responding to me about my feedback, and they really made me feel like that they are committed to continuously improving this game. I think at some point, you know, they should allow themselves, you know, after the promised DLCs have been provided, you know, they should allow themselves to sit back and, you know, have a rest because they must have been working like crazy on this title. So I think that another reason for the negative press on this game was that the industry didn't like how much content this game provides. I saw the same thing happen with Operation Flashpoint Elite on the classic Xbox because Operation Flashpoint Elite had a mission editor. You could create an infinite number of scenarios, missions that you could then share um, with other players by hosting the mission um, through Xbox Live. So there was just unlimited content for this classic Xbox game. And of course, another thing that coincided with that was the introduction of the Xbox 360. So lots of people were gravitating to the Xbox 360. A lot of that was achievements driven. People were going for those achievements just to, I don't know, for bragging rights, I guess. Like, I'm not going to play a garbage game just to get the achievements. That's, why would I do that? Why would I waste my time with that? And my personality and my self-perception, I guess, is not determined by how many achievements I have on Xbox Live. um, or on Steam. You know, I don't even, and at my age, it might be because I just don't have the reflexes or the skills at this point. But I typically don't don't flex when I'm playing games. You know, I'm not playing a game to like get approval from other people. Um, I've lived enough of my life that I can probably die tomorrow and die pretty peacefully. Um, I'm not gonna think that, you know, my life isn't finished because I didn't get a Steam achievement or I didn't get enough views or subscriptions on YouTube or Twitch. You know, I've seen enough come and go during the course of my life that I know that Xbox Live or Steam achievements mean nothing, and viewers and subscribers, um, or views and likes, aren't really going to mean much in about 10 years. You know, even now I can see I can see gamers who became pretty famous at one point for their skills, and now people barely pay any attention to them. So there's there's not much to be had in game fame. Like I barely hear anybody talking about Dr. Disrespect, um, even though he's got some impressive gaming skills. You know, like one little news item or a cancer culture movement, and you could go from top tier fame down to shame in a single day. And so this is kind of Book of Ecclesiastes type stuff if you've never read the Book of Ecclesiastes, by the way. Anyway, the last thing is that I think it may even be America driven because I think that American business doesn't like it when American dollars go overseas. The American economic establishment or business establishment or the corporate world would much rather that you were spending your dollars on American products than on products overseas. So if people are spending their money on Stalker 2, they're not spending their money on, you know, X crappy game that they've cranked out this week. So those are my theories for why this game's received some of the negative backlash it has, because it certainly isn't, from what I've seen, it's not because of bugs. I I played it for a year. I did not encounter uh, any bugs that prevented me from reaching this end game. Um, there was at STC Malachite, there was some cases where the doors were locked, but then there's a secret side entrance you can use and you can still get in there. There were cases where there were red shirts, extras, randoms, NPCs who were standing in a doorway and I couldn't get out. So I might have to take another doorway, but I think they pretty much fixed that too. It just, there just weren't the bugs that warranted all the negative press. And you can check my receipts. I've got it all on video. You can see any troubles I experienced, and there just weren't that many at all. Wow, look at this. Translations looks like to Chinese, Japanese localization. I wonder how many different languages they've translated this to. Look at this. Arabic. It's been translated into Arabic. Turkish. Wow, this is nuts. Czech. I think that goes without saying. Can you imagine trying to translate some of those terms, like noosphere, into other languages? You have to like create a whole new vocabulary. I'm trying to roll all the credits, but the credits just keep going on, kind of like the game. This is crazy, man. I'm trying to find out if I'm going to be able to free roam after this. Because the question is, will I be able to free roam the zone after this? By reverting to an earlier save? Or do I need to start a whole new playthrough? And if I do that, then I would like to do so with some of these mods. Like, I would really like to try out some of these new weapons mods. I think I saw like an FNP90 and a Heckler Koch UMP45, UMP45. What else was in there? Oh, an actual AKM in 7.62 by 39, and it looked like they adjusted the recoil and how hard hitting the rounds are. So that would be fun to play with. Then they've got like some kind of bolt action sniper rifle that looks like it's really hard hitting. Oh, and then I think they've got, what is it called, the ASH-12? It's like it's not 50 BMG, but it's like a 50 caliber uh, rifle that uh, is supposed to hit really hard. And someone modded that into the game. I would love it so much if someone would mod the Heckler & Koch G11 K2 into the game. Or even like somewhat a little bit later version, I think, that has a Picatinny rail on the top so that you can mount other kinds of optics to it. And I would love to just tromp around the zone with a G11. That would be sick. So yeah, the update tomorrow is supposed to add like a new version of the GP37, they call it, which is, it's the Heckler & Koch G36. But it's, I'm not sure if it's called the KV. So it might have a, it might be the K version, the G36K with a shortened barrel. And, yeah, that would be kind of nice. I really did enjoy the performance of the G36 in this game, but I just didn't use it that much. I I found myself using the Lullaby a lot. It was like a integrally suppressed uh, IWI Tavor TAR 21. Um, and there near the end, I was surprised how much I actually liked the OTS 14 Groza. And I'm not sure if I used the grenade launcher on it that much, but the short size, I found it really easy to use that uh, inside the apartment complexes. Wow, man, these credits just keep going. How long are these credits? You know, they made it seem like the team was, looked like the team was about 30 or 40 people strong in the documentaries, but maybe that was only at one location. I don't know, but a lot of people worked on some aspect of this game. I mean, this is, you know, the 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 people that find themselves, I guess you'd call, I don't know if you'd call them detractors or people who are unsympathetic with Ukraine and what they're going through. You know, they like to say, oh, Ukraine is like the most corrupt country in Europe or something. But then they never provide any kind of qualification for that statement. You know, and when it's Americans saying it, oh, you mean more corrupt than Capitol Hill? You know, they don't really provide any kind of support for their assertion. And then you're going to tell me that the most corrupt country in Europe can put together a team like this, so many people, get so many people signed on to contribute to a project like this, but but they're corrupt, you know. This is organization. I'm afraid to touch a button because I don't want to terminate the credits. But it'd be nice if we could speed up the names a little bit. It's scrolling a little too fast when you're trying to read a paragraph, but a little too slow when you're, covering the names. But I think everybody should get the credit they deserve for contributing to this title. This was incredible. This is, I played Far Cry 2, I think for maybe 80 hours, and at the time I thought that was a lot. Maybe it was more than that. Maybe it was even 120. But I played this game for 330 hours. That's nuts, man. Like, if that was a full-time job, that would be 6 weeks. What? 7 weeks. We'll call it 8 weeks. So 2 months. Basically, I had a 2-month full-time job playing this game. That's crazy. If it takes 2 months full time to play this game, imagine the man hours that it took to make the game. What are these production babies? What is that? Some of them are named twice. I'm sure it's like 2 different people, but if there's 2 Mayas. Maybe these were babies that were born to team members during the development of the game. Okay, I feel like we might be getting near the end now. What are these? These look like families or something. The way some of them are listed with commas and others aren't. Oh my gosh, now we're getting into music? Alex Jazz. Anti-communist gay club. What is that? It's yo. Melancholic. Not clear doubts, new breaks. Oh, that's another thing, is I might like to actually play it with the music, the soundtrack, next time. Because in tactical shooters, I don't like to have music backing, because, you know, you don't get a soundtrack to a firefight in real life. But with Stalker, the music is part of the atmosphere, really. Dirge for the planet. Don Boss Blues. Now, if Kaimanov was actually Faust, then the Labyrinth 4 Makarov pistol was Faust's pistol? Or did Faust just assume the doctor's identity? I don't know. I've got to research that. Okay, guys, so now I'm feeling like they had one person just to compile the credits. Interesting that in closing, they would use the Dugas as the final scene, the final image. That view from the top of the Red Fortress, it seemed like I hadn't been up there before, the very top. And the view from the top was just amazing. Looking at the Chernobyl nuclear power plant and then surrounding areas. Okay, guys, I really need to end this to end soon. Is there a TLDR version? Or just a text version somewhere? Because I can't escape to main menu until I feel like the whole thing has played. Alright, I'm gonna try to grab a drink. I hope I don't miss anything. Of course, I'm recording this, so if I do miss something, I'll be able to watch it later. Okay. I missed the ending there, but I'll watch it later. So there's a possibility to continue or to load. What should I do? Let's see if I select load. Oh no, do I? I don't have my game saves from... I don't have my game saves from... That's okay, I saved them, I guess. I could always revert back to this. Let's see what continue does.
Black kilos keep landing at Circa every night. Security.
Maybe it's the rustling
dogs.
reeds.
I think they're hauling
Got
innocent
work to
fighters
do.
from the chemical
Just
plants to
so
the observatory
wait.
as, like, guinea pigs.